We are back. So I've covered, I believe I started meeting the 7 from here through the end of 2012. So that would have been all of the 7. But then number 7 herself, though, that was June 18 of 2011, so let's call it halfway through 2011 to December of 2012. And then my birthday would have been like around May or so here, was the day that she called very upset. You'd have to go back to my other videos, and that was a conclusive ending. That I should have been. It should have been clear to me at that point that number 7 we were done. It wasn't for other reasons, but that was God really telling me, Eli, I'm trying to tell you we're done here. So from December of 2012 till about, I'm going to say December of 2013, there were no other girls that came into my life in any meaningful way. But I was dancing, and I think I've counted them. I think between the time I started learning how to dance and dancing till I met with the girl who's the point of all of this series. So that would have been, I met her and we started dating. So about right here. That period, so we're talking about what? 1, 2, 3, almost 4 years worth of dancing. I danced with at least 3,300 women. 3,300. That's a lot of women. And you learn a lot in 5 minutes of dancing with a woman. You learn about their insecurities, there's just so many things I could say. A lot of them, most of them cared very much how they were going to appear to people, you know, what they were going to look like on the dance floor. So there was a lot of pressure on the male dancer, the lead, to make her look good. That was primary importance. Um, there was that. There were the prima donnas that look down on you, but they'll condescend to dance with you because typically at any dance, there were typically a lot more women than there are men, and they want to dance. And so if everybody else has been picked, or the guys, that are there that dance have already picked someone, and she wants to dance, well, then I guess she's going to dance with me. But you could tell that, it's like the attitude and, oh, okay, I'm going to tolerate you for this dance, but don't think that you can ask me again, things like that. There were those. There were the ones that were very nice, and then there were a lot of the ones that were trying to just say their body language, the way they looked at me, the way they said things, because I was never a player. I was about enjoying the dance, and that was it. And so I acted stupid, like I wasn't picking up on the hints. But I could have taken a bunch of women home with me had I wanted to. And not because I'm something special, but I think I got to be a pretty decent dancer. And one of the things that I strived for, it was a goal I had. I don't know even why I developed this goal. Is my theory, I don't really know what the word phrasing is that I can make any woman dance, even if she doesn't know how to dance. That was always my uh, theory, my goal. That's the way I approached a dance. And so I would do my level best. Didn't matter who I picked. I was going to make her look as good as possible. And these are kind of, romantic songs, sensual songs. And a lot of these women, they get into the zone when they're dancing, and you just happen to be the one that's doing it for them. And in that moment, they normally, had they crossed you on the street, they wouldn't give you the time of day, but because of everything lining up right, well, now they want to be taken home. I learned that most, by far, the majority of the men that were good dancers, their primary purpose was that was their vehicle, their way of getting somebody into bed. And they were pretty blatant about it with me. Throughout this video series, I've talked about how God talks to me, or could talk to anybody, and not just via the Bible, but other ways. And one of the ways He was talking to me between, say, so after number 7 was done, through um, maybe the beginning of 2013, somewhere. So a little bit of over a year, about a year's worth, is real life events and what I would call breadcrumbs, meaning um, a way to keep me going. If you're familiar with the story of the Israelites, first they were in Egypt, and then they left Egypt, and they were on their way somewhere to the promised land. I was on some way where to my promised land, but I was in the desert just like they were in the desert. And to keep them going, God would provide certain things. It's still the desert, still extremely hard living. It's, in my case, extremely emotionally painful, lonely, but with little hopeful events along the way to keep me going. But also, they contained a message. I remember 3 specific events in that year, and I'm not talking about the dancing. One night, I am at this gas station, and I'm about to pump my gas, and there's 2 girls that come over. And remember the theme, God is introducing me with this idea that I'm going to meet somebody much younger than myself. Remember in a previous video, I ended it with saying that this girl who helped me find a place to teach dancing, her parents were 30 years apart, and so on. So the whole theme is a girl much younger than me. And so anyway, I'm about to pump gas. These 2 girls come over. They are in their early 30s, 31, 32, 33. I'm in my late 50s. And they come over. One of them was really cute. And they said, Mister, could you spare, a couple of dollars, whatever? I ran out of gas. Me, I don't know, call me whatever you want to call me. I went over there to their car, we're at the other pump, and I just filled up the girl's car again, tank of gas. Well, that girl grabs onto me, hugs me, complete body hug, will not let go. And her girlfriend's like, finally, like, are you gonna let him go? And she wouldn't, and then she goes, oh, and I hugged her back. I didn't know what else to do. It caught me by surprise. And she goes, oh, I could stay here all night. And it was kind of a little bit out of body experience. I'm like watching this from afar is what it felt like. And finally she lets go. And she says, here, take my number. So she made me open my phone up and put in her number. She says, call me. And the girlfriend's like, you don't know this man, and this, that, and the other. She just did not listen to her girlfriend. And that was it. And they left. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? But it helped me. It did a lot for me. But I took it like what it was. It was a breadcrumb with a certain meaning. This is a young girl. Then the next thing was later. So now probably, I don't know, mid 2012, maybe somewhere in there. I don't know. I'm at this 24-hour coffee shop. I'm in a conference room. It has glass walls and glass doors. You can see from the main area into the conference where I'm sitting just watching Netflix late at night because I had nothing else to do. I would come from dancing and just sit there till 3 in the morning, just watching movies. This young girl comes in, really young, like really young. I don't know, maybe I don't know, 21, 22 at the most. Walks up to the counter, looks over at me, walks over, pulls the glass door open, says to me, "Wow, you're really hot," and then closes the door, walks out, and that was the end of it. And I was like, "What?" But then here's the big one. This was a big breadcrumb for me. This was one night that I went dancing, and it was a Friday night. I drove down to a major city, and it was a major dance, and there was a dance class first. And I went and participated in the dance class. Not that I was going to learn anything, but just to have some socialization. But I was feeling like really, just really down to the point where I didn't know if I was going to make it to the end of the class, and I had told myself I was not even going to stay for the dance. I was going to leave. And as soon as class was over, this I was walking. I was gonna head. I was. It was upstairs in an upstairs room. I reached the stairs to start walking down, and this girl just appears next to me. Very, very cute girl. I would say she was 33, 34, maybe. Just starts walking next to me and grabs my arm and says, "You're gonna dance with me." I've never seen this girl before in my entire life. And we went down to the main floor, the music started up, and we started dancing. And I was trying to like make all the right moves to like, okay, the dance is over, you're free to go, somebody else can ask you to dance. But she just like latched on to me, and the next song started, and it was obvious I was going nowhere. And we danced a solid 5 or 6 songs, which songs are about 5 minutes each, so we're talking a half hour. And there are people looking at us, like, now are we a couple? And a bunch of guys. These are guys that would be normally asking her. These are guys in their 30s, late 30s, and I'm in my late 50s, and I'm dancing with this young lady, and they're all looking at me like, what in the world is going on? And I was just like, what is going on? I don't know. And then it was over. Finally, at the last song, I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, no, this, I, I finally just kind of put my foot down, and I thanked her, and I bowed out, and that was the end of that. And I went home, and I was happy. And it was obvious to me that God had done that, because that was just crazy the way that happened. So these were things that God would do as a way to keep me going, but it was always with these young girls, these young ladies. I'm going to end the video now because it's getting pretty long, but I want to leave you with this. If you've been following along with all these videos, this might make sense to you. After all I had gone through, dating, becoming involved with, entertaining, socializing, just everything having to do with women, but these were all like, they had progressed down to early 30 somethings. So often that's what I was used to. And I was like, and I started praying about it. I was like, God, how can I ever go back now and even consider getting to know and dating and falling in love with a woman my age, a woman even in her 40s, a woman even in her 37, 38, 36. Like, I, how can I do that? I'm so used to these younger girls now. Like, what am I going to do? I feel like I'm stuck.